ride. Ooh, welcome back, everybody. I Read You Read, episode 3. For the month of March, we read Scythe by Neal Shusterman. It was an interesting read. It was a very interesting concept, and I'm really excited to dive into it with all of you. But first, obviously, I hope everyone's staying at home, staying safe. Yeah, let's dive right into this world where there is no death. So it's kind of interesting where this is all landing right now. But so for those of you joining for the first time, let me just kind of give you a rundown of how this goes. I write my own kind of synopsis for the book that I think gives a little bit more depth to it that might make you want to read it. And then I construct my own trailers based off other movies that I think are kind of along the same themes or lines of description that I'm using. And it just makes it more entertaining, more fun, and hopefully it gets you guys to pick up a book. So let's dive right in. Really excited about this. So here is Scythe by Neal Shusterman. Disease, hunger, and pain. From car accidents and plane crashes to war and genocide, tainted water supplies, and cancer, death, it has been entirely eradicated. Scythe by Neal Shusterman brings us into the utopian society that many would dream of, but strong lights only cast harder shadows. As population control becomes of question, Scythes are the only ones who may deal out the final act, however they see fit. Trained to be wise and compassionate, these real-life Grim Reapers are the last things many will see. But when two teenagers, Citra and Rowan, are chosen to apprentice to a Scythe, a role that neither of them wants, they must endure the trainings and teachings from the Age of Mortality, as well as hold on to the ideals that make being a Scythe so important. Their trials and tribulations will leave healable wounds, but the final act will leave a lasting scar. This was a very, very interesting read in terms of how we would go about dealing with being immortal. You know, Neal took a very real approach to the fact that population control is a big issue. And if everyone's living forever and no one's dying, but we're still procreating, then we are going to run into food shortages or everything would just get cramped and no one would be able to eat. And so dealing with this by hiring or creating a system of people that deal out as Grim Reapers would for death is something that kind of struck me as like, okay, hold on. Back up. First off, I do want to kind of caution everybody. You know, it deals with mass killings. It deals with a lot of murder, but they call it gleanings. So it's kind of looked at in a positive way in the book in terms of dealing with the issue. But I just want to caution those of you who might be a little bit sensitive to those types of topics. Yeah, I have 3 really strong points that I wanted to kind of talk about as the reason why I think I really favored this book. Number 1, right off the bat, you are hit with a journal entry from a Scythe. And at the end of every chapter, you get another journal entry. And it's this incredible way of humanizing your antagonist. And I think that's what makes such a strong character, are the ones that we can kind of fall for in relatability and we can understand in terms of it's making a very strong case for why it's being done. And it's very strange. I didn't see it coming. It wasn't a character. Scythes weren't characters that I would ever see myself kind of relating to. In the very beginning, I was like, okay, so this is our antagonist. This is our enemy. But it really creates such strong characters, such strong character arcs and character building. And I think characters like that in books is what makes a book's readability even so much better. So the second thing on my list is the setting. If you can build a very interactive setting within a book, I think that's what creates a real page turner. It's one thing to have a good plot, it's one thing to have good character development, but it's an entirely different thing if you can create a world that is just as interactive as the story. And I think that that's what I really, really enjoyed about this book. It's the fact that we get to see different regions, we get to see different opinions and ideas. We have race issues. All of these things, even in a perfect world, because we aren't perfect as humans, creates fallacies within the environment. And then lastly, I think what makes this book even more fun than anything is the fact that the level of conversation that can be sparked from this book, your ability to kind of question everything, these philosophical ideas that come into play, these things that the author is able to pick at your mind, it sticks with you. And so I love a book that sparks conversation and kind of makes you want to learn a little bit more, maybe talk a little bit more. It pushes on your beliefs and your ideas. And that's definitely what this book does. Incredible. For next month, I will be reading, yes, World War Z by Max Brooks. I know, but it fit the theme for what we're all going through right now. We're stuck inside. It's a pandemic. And I'm having more time to read now than ever. I felt that this fit, and I'm really excited about it. It's a New York Times bestseller. It's a movie, so, I've seen the movie, haven't read the book, so I'm really interested to see the difference of that, and I'll probably speak to that a little bit more in my next review. So, yeah, if you'd like to read it with me, and as you go along in the book, you want to DM me or send me messages and kind of give me your own take, I'd love to add those to my next episode of I Read, You Read. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for this episode. Stay healthy, stay inside, 6 feet, and start reading. I'm just going to show some drone footage because I still don't have an outro, but here's some drone footage before they shut down all the trails in LA County, so enjoy that.